Don't move to Wichita in 2025 if you're not cool with these 5 things. That's what we're going to be talking about today. Before we get into all that, please like, comment, subscribe, share all those fun things to help grow the channel, support local businesses, local community and culture, all those cool things. So I got 5 things I'm going to go over really fast. Let me start my stopwatch so I don't go too long. But the first one is you shouldn't move to Wichita if you like driving for a long time to work or play or anything. Because what you'll come to find is when you start to do the math on how long it takes to get to places in this town, it's literally like 15 to 20 minutes everywhere. Which actually brings up another good point. Um, which I mean, you should do this anyway, no matter where you're at. But it's really easy to get an Uber because they're cheap and they're not expensive. And if you're drinking at all, you should just get one because they're so easy to just get an Uber here. Like they'll be there in 5 minutes. You have a 15, 20-minute drive somewhere. One of the dumbest things you can do is drink and drive. So that's another thing that just popped me in the middle of this video is don't move to Wichita if you like to drive drunk because it's too easy to get an Uber and it's too close to do anything dumb like that. So don't do it. Number 2 is don't move to Wichita if you want the chaos and the big hustle and bustle of a bigger city like Denver, Kansas City, Oklahoma City, somewhere like that that's in the region that is more densely populated. Yes, they have more features, improvements, major league sports teams, things like that, but they also have a lot more nonsense, a lot more BS and people, congestion and frustration and all that kind of thing. So if that is the bigger city lifestyle you're looking for, not knocking it at all. Like it's fun to go visit those places, but I like to just come back and live in Wichita because it's got that little big town size, which is just big enough to have all the things I want, but just small enough to not have all the nonsense. So if you want the big hustle and bustle and the nonsense and the congestion and all the people and all the things of a big city, this probably isn't entirely your place just because we don't have it here. So if you want something that's more big city, like this isn't necessarily your city for that, although we're starting to get better about that and getting bigger on everything and having more major amenities and features and cool things like that. But if you want the big city life, this isn't quite it. You have to go somewhere else for that if you want to live in that on a regular basis. Number 3, I'd say don't move to Wichita if you're really looking for oceans, mountains, rivers, lakes, etc. We don't have that kind of stuff. We got wide open skies, we got awesome burning sunsets, and we fly around in them. We have places where you can see for miles and miles and miles and never see the end of it, which actually is kind of a cool sight. But we just don't have hiking, we don't have surfing, we don't have water sports like you do elsewhere. Like we have some of that. Like we have a lake, we have El Dorado Lake, we have Cheney Lake. But honestly, we had a water drought that put those at such low levels, and our river like got down to like a foot or so of river, and it's a pretty muddy river. And people say dirty, but it's not really dirty. It's more muddy and sandy, and then you have all the runoff from farmers and everything else upstream. So it's like, yeah, we got a river and it goes through our town, but it's not quite like a an Arkansas or Missouri river where it's all fed by or has rocks in it and makes it clear. It's a pretty muddy river that runs through. So we do have rivers, we do have lakes, but we don't have the mountains, we don't have the beaches. We have long rolling plains that honestly, in some ways, the Flint Hills don't get as much credit for how much beauty they do have. If you go look up Tallgrass Prairie Reserve, there's a place where you can go on a nature walk, hike, whatever you want to call it. You can actually walk with bisons and see the herd of bison. Don't go near them. They are wild animals. They will hurt you, but you can go walk in the same rolling Flint Hills that they're in, see them from a distance, but it's pretty cool to go get a feel for what life was like on the prairie, where they have this whole like farmstead and schoolhouse you can walk through. And it's especially magical if you go for either sunrises or my favorite is sunsets, because I'm not really a morning person, but the sunsets that you can experience and see are just magical, how bright and brilliant and burning that they get. The pictures and videos just never do it justice. It's very awe-inspiring to see that. So we don't quite have geography, but we have amazing sunsets. So in some ways it's geography, but not quite the same. Number 4, don't move to Wichita if you're really looking for major league events to attend. We watch them at bars or we watch them in houses, which I'm finding I didn't realize it wasn't such a common thing to have like house parties and people over to your house. It's a big thing here in Wichita. It's probably why we buy such big houses to hang out in and have house parties in, have people over. Same thing with our big garages. You get big 3-car garages to not only fit your trucks in, but you back them out, then you put TVs in your garage and you got garage beers with your boys or your buddies. or your friends and your family. Let the kids all run around and be crazy and do their thing and spend less money than being at a bar and being crowded. Is just go watch the game or the event, at somebody's house is a very common thing around here. So we don't necessarily have major league events to like go to in person, although Kansas City is only like 3 hours away as far as a drive, or some people I know fly there and it takes them like an hour to get there. So we do have that major league sporting event that's 3 hours away in Kansas City if you want to go to a Royals game, or if you want to go to a Chiefs game. So they're going to Super Bowl now. Woo woo. That's exciting. But we don't necessarily have any that you can attend in person. So if that's something that you're really looking for, really excited about, it's not really something that Wichita has, but we do have a pretty vibrant sports scene when it comes to watching sports, both at bars and then also in person at house parties on all that. So and number 5, don't move to Wichita if you don't want a sense of community and belonging and you kind of want to just be private and hang out by yourself. This is where the little town of the big city of Wichita comes in, is that we have a lot of community and belonging here in one way, shape, or form. A lot of it comes in the form of family and who you hang out with there, but it can also come in the other form of other communities like pickleball, like the Asian community, different religious communities, whatever activity, hobby, life set, mindset that you're from. There's a lot of different communities, and it's always been that sense of community and belonging around here that has tied people together. So if you're looking for human connection, Wichita's really good for connecting people together on their common interests, beliefs, behaviors, things that they want to do there. In some ways that can be good, in some ways that can be bad. Just depends on how much you want people involved in your personal life. Sometimes you want them involved a lot, sometimes you don't want them involved a lot. But Wichita definitely has a good sense of community belonging, not just from its individual groups, but also just the idea of Wichita itself as a culture. Like, this is our flag that everybody's super happy about and pumps about. Like, we as a city have a flag that we're big about, that apparently we like going elsewhere and showing people it and being like, yeah, I'm from Wichita. And they're like, Wichita, where's Wichita? But then it's kind of a little like community belonging, civic pride type of a situation. Be like, yeah, I'm from Wichita. It's a unique gym. It's kind of a vintage place where there's certain things that aren't forgotten about, like caring about each other and paying attention to each other and being considerate, and saying, oh, let me squeeze by and grab the ranch. Sorry, all those Midwest things that we like to do. So anyway, those are the 5 things you shouldn't move to Wichita if you don't like. Hopefully it helps you get to know Wichita a little bit more. If you want to live here, work here, look at buying real estate here, whatever you want to do there, go shoot me a message down below on the link, and we'll talk with you soon. See ya.